Morning guys and girls, welcome back to extremely sunny England. This morning's project, we are installing a blade over on this wall here, going into spilling down behind this bowl here, that's fiberglass, and it's going to be Mediterranean pebbles all around, and this bowl here is going to be a lovely still pond for wildlife and lilies and stuff like that. So yeah, let's crack on.
There's one thing to note here is that the separate landscape companies has sort of been in and done all the landscaping and stuff, and then believe it or not, they got stumped when it comes to the water feature, and you know, to be honest, it's probably better than actually just doing a hash job. They put their hands up and said, do you know what, it's not our bag. So then of course we were called in, so we've got a really small basin here which is going to be swapped out for the Aqua Basin 45. It's going to, you know, well over double its capacity. We've also got to take out this, I think it's some sort of underfloor heating pipe, which is smaller than a thumbnail, which is just obviously not going to be enough to have any sort of blade. So we're actually, you know, I mean, this rendering here, you know, as nice as it is, we've actually got to cut a massive wedge out of here because we're going to recess the blade into it. We've got to run plumbing up. Maybe we can get into the wall cavity because this is quite thick. There's actually a cavity in there, and then we're going to tile across the front here as well. So it's a bit different. It's a lovely formal feature that we're going to be doing.
Just want to talk about obviously why it is beneficial to get a professional in to install your water feature. Is obviously this, as James said, is like a centimetre underfloor heating pipe, and we're going to put an inch flexi pipe, so obviously with the pump running as well, you'll get a lot more water coming across your blade.
No, it's definitely the size when it comes to water features. Right, start for the messy bit. We've got to cut a hole in this wall. Yay. Yay. It's going to stick to the sun cream. Right, let's do it. So really basic first steps. We've cut the pipe back. Cavity, well, the markings for our cavity, we've got to lop out down to here, all the way through to here. We've got to cut that down, and then depending on what cavity we've got inside the wall, we might be able to get the hose on the back of the product and round, or we're going to have to chase up the wall for the pipe. We'll see. So we've chased out the wall behind Lee's head for the blade and the hose underneath, and it's going to go into the cavity and out the bottom. Lee's just digging out for the Aqua Basin 45, and what we actually just want to talk about here, or look at, oh, nearly fell over, is the old basin here compared to the new basin. The biggest pro for a larger basin is you have to fill it up less. With these smaller sort of closed systems that are recirculating, you get natural water loss through evaporation, especially with the heat we've been having this last week here in the UK at sort of 28 degrees or whatever it's at, and a little bit of splash sometimes. 2 dogs here, you just need them to come in, dive in, have a splash, you know. There you think you go, you've drained half your tub in one day and you have to top it up again to keep the pump running. Larger basin, you don't have that problem. So Lee, tell us about the height of the basin.
In this heat, this section of the video is sponsored by Lee's Knees. One thing you really have to consider when installing the basin is this is the grade of the patio. If James comes down to where I am, this is the grade of the patio, and the height you want to set your basin is about 2 to 3 inches lower. So obviously when the rocks and the stuff goes on top, you'll be at the height. of the patio.
That's 90 mil for anybody born after 1986.
Please indeed. Sorry, I'm still old-fashioned. But
So-
yeah, let's crack on and dig through this lovely hardcore.
Yummy. What Lee is we always find on jobs it's easier just to drop sand in the bottom, whether we're using a basin or we're building a pond. It's just easier to level, really. Otherwise you're fighting potentially sticky mud, clay, rocks, gravel. Drop some sand in the bottom and it just makes life so much easier to level out. Top tip. So quickly, whilst Lee's wiring up the pump, you can see we've now got the 900 blade in with the light in the top here, which should look fantastic. And because of the way the wall is, sort of like I mentioned at the start of the video, we're sort of like retrofitting a feature here to an existing sort of wall, which has got a very, very small cavity, and it's all very, very awkward. But obviously, as with most things, like sort of when you're trying to retrofit, they're going to be perfect, because obviously if we were doing it, we'd sort of have a channel, maybe a piece of pipe running down to the side. It'd be a lot wider, you know, but it is what it is, and we're making the best of the situation in which we've obviously been left with from a previous company that didn't feel they could handle it. So yeah, once this is plumbed in, because of the way the foundations go, we've got to fill this up now. Once we've got our pipe work and stuff in, fill this up and then create a splash curtain or a bib liner just to catch the water and send it into our basin here, the Aqua Basin 45 that Lee's parked on right now. So we've got all the tiling done now. So you can see that's looking pretty spectacular. It's a complete change to what we normally do. This is a very, very, very formal feature, but I'm liking it actually very, very much.